Did you register for Moon Cycle Mama community chat?
Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, so once again, I am going to be talking about, wait, first, my name is Kari. I'm founder, doula, so many other hats with Moon Cycle Mama Doula and Wellness LLC. Our community chat is on what does a spoiled child look like to you? Do you know the difference in between a spoiled child and a child that's experiencing separation anxiety? Okay, and I want to welcome you all here again for this chat. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So today we're going to be talking about the parent solution to separation anxiety in babies and toddlers. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, as I mentioned, the parent solution to separation anxiety in babies and toddlers. Now, it's easy to feel trapped when your baby cries every time that you try to step away. Rest assured that this is a natural and temporary stage in child development. Meanwhile, I want you guys to consider these suggestions to help you and your family sail through this period more comfortably. It's okay, it's normal, it happens to us all, but here are the solutions that will help you and your family get through this temporary stage of separation anxiety in babies and toddlers. Okay, so the facts to help you to understand what separation anxiety actually is. I want you to know the key ages. Now, this is relevant to babies and toddlers. So I want you to know what the key stages are. Babies tend to become more clingy at about 8 months. This is give or take some months, and of course each child is different, but these are like the what we've noticed as an even line across. So we notice that babies begin to be clingy at about 8 months. Just when you think it's over, a second bout is likely to start up around 18 months. What we've noticed is that this is around the time, if not earlier, when that key parent um, decides to go back to work or back to work or back to school, and you're setting up where you're actually taking the baby out to either a daycare, to the child care provider, or a family. All this usually does fade away around the second birthday. So that's the first fact. I want you to look at the second fact, right? Think about the psychology. Think about the psychology behind it. See, small babies lack enough experience to notice unusual events. Now, it can take a while for them to realize that you are missing, but they do. Now, at about 2 years old, they figure this out, that you always come back. You see what I'm saying? So, babies in the beginning, they could be clingy because they don't realize, they don't have the mental capacity at the moment to think that you're leaving to either go to work or to school and that you're coming back. So, this is what starts that separation anxiety. But around 2 years old, they understand that you're going out to work or school and that you're coming back to them. So it becomes to be a trend, and their little brain starts to absorb and see that you're just going out temporarily to work or school and that you're coming back to them to give them all the love that they missed out on during that period. Okay. Like I mentioned, it can take a while for, I think, once you get to two, at that point, they're so preoccupied with the world and the new experiences, and they may be walking, that it can take a while for them to actually realize that you're going, because there are so the everything is has their eye. So they always figure that like I mentioned, at around about two, they always realize that you always come back. And they actually like some independence. As I mentioned, around those twos, you can just notice that if they're walking, crawling, or whatever that they're doing at that milestone, They everything has their attention. So it can take a while for them to realize that you're gone, and then at that time they always know that you're coming back to them. And about when you're at that two stage, that two toddler stage, they always realize that you come back. So that's always a good thing. But you see the difference from 8 months and 2 years old is a nice gap there. So just understand that it takes time. It takes time for your child to understand what's going on and what they're feeling. Okay. Also, you can talk to your doctor, talk to the pediatrician, talk to, yeah, definitely, I would say talk to your pediatrician. About 5% of children may need additional help to overcome anxiety. Your physician can recommend what to do if your child does, in fact, show signs of physical distress, that anxiety, or if a child over 5 years of old, I'm sorry, over 5 years of age, fears that, that has these fears that can interfere with them going to school, going to interact or playing with others, or even enjoying school or enjoying that outdoors time. And this is when I'm speaking about children that's over 5, because it can be something that's a little bit bigger than the separation anxiety from you. So, especially if they don't want, and they're over 5 and don't want to go out and play with their friends, this is the time that you should find out what exactly is going on and with the child and in the child's life. So this will be key to speak with your pediatrician to talk about some of these issues. Okay. Let's see here. Parenting strategies to help deal with separation anxiety. Say goodbye. A lot of parents, when they're trying to get out for work and they feel as if that their child is a little bit too clingy, they immediately leave out. Like they'll pass the baby on to the child care provider, and then they'll just leave without saying goodbye, kisses, hugs, or anything. And I really think that that's imperative to do, so they realize that you're always coming back. Also, it lets them know, that you are coming back and that they're loved and in good hands. I think that when you leave out and you don't do any of that just so the child won't notice you leaving, that hurts even worse and creates a even bigger anxiety, separation anxiety type fact. That's what I think. You may be tempted, as I mentioned, to try and sneak away, but that will backfire in the long run. It's less scary for your child if you make eye contact and you actually say goodbye to them directly, or instead of saying goodbye, because we don't say goodbye, we say see you later, right? So see you later, alligator. So consider doing that. And that eye contact between you and your child, letting them know it's okay. I will be back. This is, I'm only going to work, but I'm coming back. See you later. You know what I'm saying? Giving them this way, they know that you're coming back. They feel a little bit more at ease, and they don't look for you because they know that you're coming back. If this also minimizes drama. So the best departures are brief. If possible, time them for when your child is well rested and fed. So what does this mean? Consider if you're leaving or going to work or school or whatever the case, consider the time it like when your child is well rested and fed. So if you have to go to work in the morning, feed the baby. This way, give them all the kisses and hugs and let them know I'll see you later, I'll be back. Same thing. I mean, if you're leaving to go to work in the evening, you want to make sure that they have ate dinner, they're comfortable, all that. See you later. I love you. I'll see you later. All of that really, really matters to a child, to a baby, to a toddler. because we don't want this to backfire, and we want to minimize the drama, especially if you're taking the baby, the child of the children, to a family member's house, to a daycare, and all of that, because it helps minimize it all, so we're all on the same page, and it's not a scary event for the baby or toddler. Okay, keep talking. Just like I'm doing, right? So keep talking. If you need to move to another room, your baby may feel more secure if they can hear your voice. So keep talking. Tell them about what you're doing or sing their favorite song. So, how does this look like? Moms, after you have the baby, you mention to yourself that you just want a peace and quiet, a little time to yourself. Haven't you noticed how the babies just come in when you go to the bathroom, close the door, and they just come in and want to see what you're doing? When you leave the room, just say that the baby is like in the bedroom or in the front room, and you have to jet across the area to do something else. Keep talking. Like, the sound of your voice gives them that reassurance, that comfortable knowing that you're in the room, that makes them feel so much better, because they know that you're there, they know that you're in the room, they can sense you, they can feel you. So that helps also minimize the separation anxiety in babies and toddlers. Let your let your child get acquainted with other caregivers. Introduce the babysitters and other caregivers before leaving them alone with your child. Now, see, as parents, we all know the do's and don'ts. Anyway, when it comes to now you're going back to work, and a child care provider, a babysitter, or another family member is introduced, because they'll be actively providing care in your absence. It's better to get the child of the children acquainted with those individuals, because it helps them gain comfortability, trust with those other adults that you're going to be leaving the child with, so they're comfortable as well. This way, it doesn't become a resentful type feel, that anxiety. They don't like them. They don't want to listen to them. They're going to cry, stump, don't eat. All of this can backfire on you, especially if you're trying to get back to work and school. So, introducing the child or children to those caregivers that's going to be providing care in your absence is a good thing, because, like I said, it's all about developing trust, so they're comfortable. They're comfortable with their new child care provider. They build that relationship with them. They don't feel as if that you're leaving them and never coming back. It's building trust. Okay. Next thing is, use a comforting object. I noticed that, like, I really, really noticed a lot of parents don't believe in the comforting type thing. Like, some parents, their children have like the little rubbies, like some type of piece of fabric that they rub when they get anxious, or they have a certain doll that they play with when they're anxious or scared. They have a doll that they confide in. Some might have like a receiving blanket or something like that they more so would use or carry with them when they're anxious or not feeling well or they're sad, and these are things that makes them happy. So I would say, if that child has that, and you know that you're going to be making this transition, because not only is it a transition for you, it's a transition for them as well, I would say consider them bringing that object along with them. And if you're worried about it being dirty or whatever, just wash it. But I would say to allow them to bring that, because this will calm them down, and they're less anxious, they're a little bit more comfortable, and they feel safe. Okay, make it a ritual to give your child a stuffed toy or a blanket while you're gone. They can hold onto it until you return. So that's pretty cool too. The next thing is play games. Have fun with this experience. Tell older children where you're going, and what time you'll be back. Now, these are older children. These are not like the babies, the 1, 2 T's. But I'm talking about maybe 5 or older. You can tell your children, "Hey, I'm going to work. I'll be back. I'll be back. I get off work at 5. I'll make it home by 6:30, so we can cook your favorite dinner." And all of this actually really minimize the anxiety, and this helps them understand that you'll be back, and they know what time you'll be back. So they're gonna be looking at the clock. If they can tell time, they like, "Yeah, I know my mom says she'll be here. She gets off at 5 o'clock." They can see 5:12. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Mama be here by 6:30 so we can cook. They're looking at that. They're looking at the time and all of that, and they anticipate you coming back to get them, spend time with them. And like I said, if they're over a child caregiver's house, they anticipate that time for you to come pick them up. Okay. Um, have fun with this type of experience. I would say, play a game with it. Make it a fun experience, because we all know that it's not fun if your mom, all you know is your mommy, and your mommy is going off to work. So make it a game, find some fun in this, so that it will really help relax them, and I'm sure it will help relax you, because hearing your baby cry and you then left them with a child care provider or a family member or whatever, hearing your baby cry is the worst feeling, worst experience. So why not do something that will encourage them to understand and realize that you'll be back for them, and they know that you're coming back. It really minimizes the drama and all of the rest of things, by just including them on what's going on. Play games. I already mentioned that about playing games. Let's see. Offer rewards. Offer rewards. This is good. This is a good opportunity to give them rewards. "Hey, you were so good when you went over Auntie Gemma's house," or "You were so good when you went to Robin's daycare center." By offering them those rewards for being good and not crying, and understanding that mama will be back, and especially with them saying, "I knew what time that you said you were coming to get me, so I kept an eye on the time, and you came and got me." You know what I'm saying? This way they're not discouraged. This way they're not let down. You came back and got them at the time that you stated. So offering rewards. Create something for them to look forward to. Share a hug. Tell your child how much you miss them. And read a book together or make crafts. Just offer some type of reward for them being good and patient while waiting on you to return to get them. Reassure your partner. Okay, so children generally focus on the parent that they spend the most time with. And the reason I say this is because we do get into the habit of, they don't do this around you, they only do this around you. This connection is really about who the child spends the most time with. If they are spending the most time with mom and not dad, then that other parent is going to see that when you leave and you're the dominant parent, and when you leave, the baby cries because he or she misses you, because you're the parent that the child is around 24/7, 365. Okay. Now, I already told you about that. Generally, children focus on the parent that they spend the most time with, so the other parent may feel left out. I think this is a key time for that other parent to really become involved. So, discuss your feelings with your partner if you feel as if you're left out because the baby cries when you leaves. But It's not the same reaction when the other parent is there. I feel as if at this point you need to be discussing that with your partner, and how you guys can basically even the playing field. It can be hard. It can be hard on a mom that primarily takes care of the children, and the dad, he's gone at work, and there, of course, the baby knows that you're dada, but the connection has not been really built to where the child feels safe with you. This is why that the child starts crying and cutting up, per se, when you leave. That's that child is experiencing separation anxiety. It's not that they're acting out, it's because they don't know what more to do, and they don't want that other parent to leave. I wouldn't put that off on the other parent as if that they're building some type of wall between you, being the other parent, the partner, and the primary parent. It's just that who that child spends the most time with. If you feel like you're being left out, I think this is your key to go ahead and start involving yourself a little bit more. Allow mom to take some time to fall back while you just pick up the pieces there. Work together, talk about your issues. This way, you can develop a plan aware that this will be beneficial for both of you as far as the parents, and this puts the child in a better response so they don't have that anxiety as much, or when you leave. I'm just speaking on if you're married or your dad, the baby's father, is there. This is a way that it can help you as far as being the mom, because now you get an opportunity for a break. Now, this can be so much harder on single parents, single moms. I would say single moms, because you don't have someone who's going to allow you and relieve you for that break. And the only people that you can depend on is maybe a family member who will provide care, or other child care providers that you can depend on. And it can be hard, but I would say definitely at the same notion, although it would be hard, make sure that you have a conversation with all of those individuals that's going to be involved in the child's life when it comes to child care, and make sure that all of you guys are on the same page. That helps. That helps. And you're understanding everyone's feelings in this scenario. Okay. I already just mentioned this about planning for going back to work, because that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to children experiencing separation anxiety. If you can pull it off, you may want to let your baby's comfort levels increase before scheduling your return to office, because this can be a make it or break it part with you in employment, especially if you leave to go back to work too soon and you haven't really gotten your baby ready to be in the care of another person that's not you. Okay, so as I mentioned, you may want to let your baby's comfort levels increase before scheduling your return to the office. Starting out with part-time hours can also ease the transition, and that is so true. I don't think, and a matter of fact, I know, I kind of tried this with my own children. I knew that although I wanted to go back to work full time, I knew that it was going to be impossible for me to do that. I knew that it's a transitional period for me, because I don't want to leave my babies with the child care, the daycare, the child care provider, or my aunts or my mom. You have your own children, and it can become kind of devastating for you to leave your own children in the hands of someone else. So going and starting with part-time and then leading back up to full-time, that will be a great transitional moment for both you as well as the children that's involved. Okay. The next one, rule out other causes. So, when it comes to separation anxiety, make sure that there isn't any other contributing factors that can be, playing on the child's psyche to the reason why that the child is experiencing the separation anxiety. Children will outgrow most of this clinginess and crying on their own. But at the same time, you may want to spot any more serious causes like fever or other illnesses that can also be contributing to this feeling of separation anxiety as you know it within your child. Expect setbacks. You have to be realistic with this. This is a child. This isn't like something in some type of human thing. Okay. Expect setbacks. So, stressful events will make a child hang on to you tighter. Let me move you guys in a little bit. Okay, so as I mentioned, stressful events will cause your child to hang on to you a little bit tighter and be extra clingy. So be prepared to provide extra comfort in those situations. If your child will be like having surgery, if your family is moving to a new house, if your child if the child's friend is moving, situations like this, these stressful events can in fact trigger setbacks. So where you may have had your child on a roll, or where you were able to go back to work or to school and they were okay. Certain things can be stressful enough to cause that anxiety to come back, and at this point they just want that comfortable person. They want that person that makes them feel comfortable and safe, and guess what? That's you, mom. So just expect setbacks and be prepared to offer a little bit extra comfort in those times. Now, also, this is a big one. Recognize your own anxieties. See, children pick up on their parents' thoughts. Yes, they pick up on your thoughts and your feelings. If you're calm and cheerful, your child will probably decide to think that everything is okay. But if you're erratic, going off and everything else, that can be so stressful to the child and have them reacting not good. Okay? Now, you will feel better if you remember that most children quickly get over their tears and fears after you're out the door. So be patient and look forward to the day when parting ways will be a lot easier for you and your child. Okay? Now, I have concluded this conversation. I see that there are some questions. So I am going to start answering some of those questions. And if we did talk about them, I'm going to have you guys, I'm going to basically go right into that area and talk about it a little bit more. Okay. So, spoiled child. So what you guys think that's considered as a spoiled child? Maybe a child that's experiencing separation anxiety. When you see that they're acting out, having tantrums and crying and all of that due because of the parent leaving out the door, that's indicators of separation anxiety. Find out if that child has a stuffed animal that they came to the center or to your home with, and provide them with that as reassurance, because that's something that the child and the mom, or the dad, whomever that's staying with the child primarily, can have developed that like that rubby or that blanket or that stuffed animal to be their safe space. So you may want to incorporate that and give that to the child in the times that they're experiencing all of these feelings all at once, because mom or dad has basically left out the door. Okay. And as I mentioned, even with that, make sure that you rule out other causes that can be the reason that you feel as if the child is experiencing this anxiety, this separation anxiety, because other factors can be contributing to the way that the baby feels. If the baby is sick and all of that, so you would think it's just separation anxiety, it's the way that the baby is using to communicate with you that something is not right. So make sure you rule out those other factors also. Um, I already told you about using a comforting agent or a comforting object. Make it a ritual to make sure that your child has a stuffed toy, a rubby, or a blanket, something that they can connect with closely, and that they can use while you're gone. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. The main and big thing. Don't just walk out, drop the kids off, walk out, and just leave them with a stranger and expect for them to be okay. That's not how it's going to happen. If the children has not spent any one-on-one time with this individual at their home or in their institution, there is no way that you're going to get out of the door unscathed thinking that this is going to be okay. Let your child get acquainted with these child caregivers. If Aunt Gemma is going to be providing care with the baby and the baby has not been in Aunt Gemma's presence alone, you may want to introduce Aunt Gemma to the baby. You may want to introduce the baby to Aunt Gemma. You may want them to build a rapport connection of somewhat so that the baby feels safe when you're out of the room. Not even just that, even with the child caregivers, the babysitters, you don't want to leave your child with them and they are not acquainted or comfortable with them, because they're going to feel the same way. You just left me here with a stranger. I don't know who this person is. I will scream for my mommy too. I don't know who these people is, what their intentions or anything, and you just left me. Of course I'm going to be screaming because I don't want to be here. So to eliminate a lot of this, it's more so to introduce these child care providers, these babysitters, these family members, introduce them to your baby so that they can get a little bit more comfortable in their presence when you're not around. Remember, you're looking to go back to school or to work. You want to ensure that this isn't going to backfire in your face too smoothly by just dropping them and leaving. Okay. The next thing and the big thing is, like I mentioned, to minimize drama. Make sure that the childrens are fed. They're full for sure. They have maybe some toys that they can take with them or something, because you want to minimize the drama so this doesn't backfire in your face, especially if you're deciding to go back to work and school and you want to take them and leave them with a babysitter. I just feel like well rested and fed just helps out so much better, because they'll be so much in a sleep coma or they'll be well fed to the point of, okay mama, I'm about to go and play. So that can be a way that you can minimize drama. Um, okay, so I see one of the comments that I got was, yeah, I always leave out and I try to get them not focused on me so they won't cry as much. Do you know in certain instances that's actually increasing their anxiety because you did not say goodbye to them or make that contact or give them that hug? Because now they're looking for you and they feel as if that you just abandoned them. So consider saying goodbye, having that eye contact, giving them big hugs and kisses, saying goodbye directly to them helps them, decrease the anxiety, and that also lets them know that you're coming back. Okay. Um. Okay. So, let me see if I have any additional questions. No, let me see if I have any questions here. Okay, so I hope I was able to answer the questions that you guys had. For those that did, as far as stay here for the for the virtual community chat, I will be sending you guys this ebook so that you also can, if you are experiencing this yourself, then this way you'll have the ebook that you can always go back to. This ebook is the parent solution to separation anxiety and babies and toddlers. I will be sending that out to the email that you initially signed up with for this community chat. I would like to thank you guys so much for all that you guys are doing, and that you guys utilize my channel and me to provide you guys with resources as well as value to help you navigate this life, this life called life of parenthood, right? So it can be difficult, but guess what? It gets better and you're going to love it and experience everything of it for what it basically comes as. If you have any additional questions or you feel as if that you want to talk further about this, feel free to message me. You should have my contact details. This will be via the email that I've also sent you guys earlier for those that initially signed up through our link. You can keep in contact with me via email. It also has my phone number in there as well, my business line. So you have the opportunities to keep in contact with me, especially if you want to talk about these things. Okay. Once again, thank you guys so much. I had these difficulties earlier, but I said I am going to continue to come in strong and hold these conversations with you guys, because if I didn't, who would? And why? Oh, why? Being a mom of myself, being a mother of myself, why would I not be a reliable village member to you guys? Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys on the next community chat. Stay tuned. Bye.